Greetings friends, Steven here, and welcome to my review of the game Clash of Elementalists for the, DSi. Now I played it on the 3DS, but of course you could get it for either system. This is a game made by AMSI and licensed and published by Teon. Right on. Now if you were a fan of the arcades back in the day, you might remember a game from SEGA. It was called Virtual On Cyber Troopers, or something to that extent. Now, this game is a whole lot like Virtual On. It's pretty much almost the same thing. There's actually a lot less in this game than you would find in Virtual On, which is unfortunate. It is a one-on-one fighting game. It's 3D. I will show you some footage after my little spiel here. It's okay. It's not great. It's not horrible. There's only 4 characters in the game. That wouldn't be a big problem, but there's only so many moves for each character. And the biggest issue I had was with the controls themselves. Now, Virtual On was a game that you would control in the arcade with 2 joysticks. You don't have that sort of kind of classic tank control style. But of course, if you're playing this on the 3DS, you would only have the one analog stick to work with. The DSi folks would have it even worse because they would only have the D-pad. And the game kind of suffers because of that, because it still has that same sort of tank control, except you only have the one analog stick to work with. You'll find that the biggest problem will be your character, your opponent rather, will be zipping back and forth, shooting at you, whatnot, and you'll often lose your lock on to them. And the game is pretty much all about the projectile attacks. You can do close-up melee attacks should your 2 characters be that close, but most of the time you'll be doing long-range attacks. So it's a whole lot of like zipping around, dodging, throwing attacks, dodging those attacks, and back and forth. One suggestion I would have for the game would be to have everyone always locked onto the other character. I think that would make the game a lot more fun to play. But that's not what we got here. It's pretty good. Music, sound effects are fine. There's nothing to really write home about, but nothing to complain about either. It's brief. You can do like free play mode, arcade mode, where you fight the 3 other characters, and then the last boss, you could say, is actually your own character, just like, you know the drill, like it's like a mirror match, and then you'll see a little one screen ending, and that's pretty much it. Now, it's not an expensive game. Like I said, it's an eShop game. You can get it for $4.99, so that's not like it's not a lot of money, but I wouldn't suggest you go out just to buy it. It's more of a sort of game you'd buy just because you're in the mood for some 3D anime girl battling games, and you just had $4.99 plus tax left in your 3DS bank account. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say at the moment. I will show you some in-game footage next, and we'll go from there. So let's check it out. Alright, here we are. Now I've got it on the credits screen here. I just thought it was funny that if you look at the credits, you can see the 4 characters in little 8-bit mode jumping around. Thought that was kind of neat. So, let's see what we got here. This is, of course, the main menu. Arcade mode, free battle mode, versus mode, which can be played via the Wi-Fi, which is pretty cool, assuming that you can find another person to play against. Now, you've got a training mode here, but it doesn't, well, it is a training mode, but it doesn't really tell you how to play the game. It just gives you the option to try your attacks out with the character. Let's take a quick look, actually. And I'm just going to zip through this really quick. So you can either have the gameplay itself, and you can have the game just stand there and you can try assorted combos and whatnot. Now the stages, one problem I had with the game, like I mentioned before, Virtual On, in that game each stage had a different design to it. There'd be obstacles in the way, buildings and whatnot for your mechs to fly around and dodge and use as cover and whatnot. But in this game, every stage is pretty much the exact same thing. It's just a square. And it's too bad about that, because I would have liked to have seen a bit more variety in the stages themselves. So I'll just load up arcade mode here so we can get an idea of what we're looking at. Set it to easy, and time 60, whatever. Like I said, there's only 4 characters, and the game is over pretty quick, so it's actually good for just a quick pick up and play kind of game. Alright, so just going to pause that real quick. So at the top here you got your left attack, which you use with the L button, your right attack, which you use with the R button, and then your middle attack, which you use with the L and R buttons. This is pretty much the exact same thing that you would get in Virtual On. So left attack, right attack, and your Y lets you dash. This is a very useful button to know. X lets you jump. Great thing about X jumping is that it always centers you to your opponent, which is kind of integral when you keep losing your lock on. See, right now I have no idea where they are. But I jump, now I'm locked on again. Very cool. You can just spam some attacks. And if you get up close and they've got that 2 ring on them, you can get some melee combos. And as you can see, my character at the moment has a sword. So it would, she's probably a pretty good character for melee, I think. There's not a huge difference between the characters. Some are maybe a bit faster than others, some maybe do a bit more damage, but you know, it's all pretty much the same story. Oh, I died. How embarrassing. Okay, well there you go. Game over. Alright, well that's pretty much all I've got to say about the game. It would be a much better game if you could play it on something like the PS3 where you have the 2 analog sticks. That would make the controls a lot easier to do. There is the Circle Pad Pro. I don't know if that works with this game. I'm guessing it wouldn't, since this game is designed for the DSi and not the 3DS. So who knows, maybe there'll be a Clash of Elementalists 2, and it'll include more characters, more variety in the stages, and support for dual analog. Until that time though, it's an okay game, it's not great, but hey, it's $4.99, so it's really up to you. So, I guess that's pretty much all I want to say. So, thanks so much for watching. If there are any other games you'd like to see me review, by all means let me know in the comments. And big thanks to Taeon for letting me do this review. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.